Hey, welcome back, BVC fans. As always, I'm your guy, Bobby, aka Bot.
And I'm your Con, aka James.
And today we're here with a special engagement. We're interviewing a family member, somebody we hold really close to us, and the new sponsor of Bot versus Con. We have Brandon from The Chosen Prime.
Hey guys.
Hey, how's it going, Mr. Chosen Prime?
Doing all right. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for joining.
I was going to say thank you for joining us.
Well, yeah, definitely. So, first I want to again thank you for sitting down with us and spending, your busy schedule with us. I know you're a busy man. I think we've known each other a little over a year now. So we met back in LA at TFCon 2022, which was ironic because that was the same time I met James. So, one of the things that I always like to go over when we have these interviews is, we've been talking for a while now. What do you remember about us meeting?
Oh man. Well, so the first night when we met you guys buying the exclusives, right? So when the three of you guys were all together, and I was like, oh, these guys, they seem like they've known each other forever, and then obviously later on we figured out that you had just met there, we're just hanging out and hit it off, whatever. I thought that was a cool thing, that happens at shows, it's a real thing. So, I thought that was a really neat deal. And, besides that, I mean, you guys are both, super down to earth people. So that was nice. It wasn't anything too wild going on there. Just good people. And that's important for us, for the people that, that are close to us. We're all just normal folks that, have normal jobs and do normal stuff all day.
And happen to collect transformable little robots from Japan.
Exactly. Yeah.
So going off of that, can you describe your personal relationship with Transformers?
Yeah, man, that goes back a ways. Obviously when I was a kid, trying to watch episodes the days that I could remember, Saturday morning, whatever, staying home from school, trying to catch the reruns at 11 o'clock, doing whatever I could to watch episodes and that sort of thing. And the toys were just a huge part of my childhood, from the get-go. And, probably as I started being a teenager, I went ahead, I was collecting a lot of sports memorabilia, baseball cards, that sort of thing. So I actually sold my Transformer collection to kind of to buy more memorabilia and things like that. And that was kind of it for a lot of years. Other than just once in a while just walk the toy aisle, right? See what they look like now, and just kind of see the changes that are going on. And nothing really struck me, as much as the original stuff. Even Beast Wars back then was not something that I was all too interested in. But to each their own. I like them now. I like a lot of different continuities now, but they just, nothing shook me quite as much as those Autobot cars and things like that. They were just so iconic to me, and I loved cars anyway as a kid, so the tie-in there was big. And just growing up, I felt like the voice acting and all that stuff was just different, back then. So I like that. And then, when I had my son, Porter, you guys met him, that changed things too, because, when he was 3 years old, we bought him a couple of them and he wouldn't put them down. He just nonstop. He just played with them all the time. And we couldn't get that kid to focus on anything hardly, and then all of a sudden you put those things in his hand and he just, he's quiet and he's having fun with it and, really enjoying it. And then it turned into a bigger deal because, he would come to me and be like, hey, transform this. So, we bought him, the first two toys I bought him was Ratchet and I think Dead End maybe from Transformers Prime. And so like those were the two. And he's like, I'm transforming these things like 500 times a week, just wearing them out. And, it just materialized from there that I kind of got, reacquainted with what was going on in the world. I didn't really have a real handle on, masterpieces or anything like that yet. And then just kind of built from there.
Oh,
so,
wow. Okay.
Pretty long history.
Yeah, that is that. I mean, and a lot of ups and downs. It's almost kind of like my roller coaster as well, because I was like you, G1er, all the way, and then kind of started phasing out as G1 started to go, and then B Sports came in, and I was just like, don't really care for it too much. I picked up a couple, and then it was just like, okay, I'm out. And then, but again, walking down the toy aisles and seeing some of the masterpiece figures at Toys R Us or something like that, I was just like, wow. Right. These look really cool, and roped me back in there.
Yeah.
With me, it's opposite, because my dad told me, never sell your collection. Come to me first.
Yeah.
So because he did exactly what you guys did with other things, not Transformers. Yeah. So I'm kind of after both of you guys, where he was the one saying, don't ever do that. So luckily, I haven't had to. But shout outs to him. He'll probably be watching.
My G1s were so worn out they wouldn't have been worth anything anyway, to be honest. Just sloppy messes. I know for a fact, like very few of them. Even though I was pretty meticulous as a kid, like I just wore them out because I never put them down.
So the show is titled Bot versus Con. Me being the bot, James being the con. Would you consider yourself an Autobot or a Decepticon?
No, I'm Autobot all the way, man. It's not even a question for me. Between the car tie-in, I love jets. Those are great and everything, but the car tie-in puts me there no matter what. So
I kind of assumed as much with the name of the Chosen Prime.
Right. So there's that.
But
it would have been weird if we called ourselves like the Chosen Evil or something like that. I don't.
Yeah. You could Unicron.
It's not as inviting. I don't feel like
Nemesis.
Yeah.
There you go. So piggybacking off of that, I might know who this is, and I hope you are able to surprise me though. But what is your favorite Transformer character?
Yeah, I mean, so. Prime, I always have a special relationship with Prime just because of the tie into that, father-like figure as you're growing up, right? That it's not that, I mean, my dad's a great guy. My dad's, really involved with everything I do. So it's not that like I had this like terrible childhood or anything. It's just, you had that other influence, right? That was just kind of always in the back of your mind as, as you're growing up, making decisions and things like that. Just, trying to kind of, follow that lead a little bit. But, as far as just like a character, like I always liked Wheeljack really well. The car got me, again, that Lancia Stratos is just a cool car. But, those are probably the two big ones.
I am surprised by the Wheeljack mention. That caught me up. Yes. And so
you had me pegged.
I did. I mean, I figured Prime, but then I was thinking that you might be like maybe a Jazz or a Sideswipe or
yeah. Both of them are cool. I mean, again with the cars, like they can't go wrong, right? So
yeah,
they were all like big parts of things, but I don't know. There's something about Wheeljack. I like the robot design too. Like I just thought, with like the light up ears and just. Kind of a unique design,
That's why I like that G1 Wheeljack personally, is that head. I love that like mouth part that he has, even though it's supposed to be eyes on the original toy. But the cartoon with the mouth, I always thought was unique and cool.
Yeah, just very cool.
So then I can assume then that again, lots happened. It seems like G1 is the continuity that you would choose over all the others.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, because of when I grew up, I'm 42 now. So born in 81. I grew up with toy-wise a lot of the Headmaster stuff. So, I had Target Masters, Headmasters, that sort of stuff was kind of the bread and butter of my collection because of the age point that I was at when they came out. So those were big parts. I mean, like actually Point Blank is another one of my favorite characters. So yeah, see, that's it was one of my favorite toys because it was one of the first ones that had functioning elbows, and arms that you could kind of swing different directions, a little more posability. So that was always fun. I had all those Autobot Target Masters, and that one was my favorite though because it was just again car, cool looking car.
Yep.
Hot Rod was always a favorite too, and more so from the movie, I think, because I liked Hot Rod in the movie. I did not like what they did to Hot Rod later, and the way they took Rodimus and kind of transformed him into this self-doubting whiny baby, that I didn't like that. But then Cup was another one of my favorites. Like from the movie Cup, I like the toy really well too. The toy was just one that I played with a lot, and another one of my favorites. So there's a few. As I start thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, there's actually a lot.
I feel like I'm interviewing myself here. I mean, we have so many things alike here.
Well, I know Bobby has a few of these, but did you collect any other toy brands when you were?
Yeah,
I know
for sure.
Bobby did.
G.I. Joe's was big. I mean, I had just a grip of Joe's. I had as many or more G.I. Joe's as Transformers, probably, just because they were more obtainable, right? I mean, no big deal to, I could talk mom or dad into giving me $3 for a Joe, and then the vehicles would come at like Christmas and birthdays and things like that, I had a lot of vehicles when it came to Joe's too. So those were big ones, and He-Man to a lesser degree, but I had them, and then those were kind of the two main ones. I had some GoBots, but we don't want to talk about that.
What are those?
Yeah, but yeah, I mean those were the main things. The Transforming robots and Joe's were 1 and 1A.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the Chosen Prime. Where did the name come from?
So when the whole idea of coming up with a business name came up, when we kind of decided between Kim and myself what we were going to do, we just started rapping off things, and it came out and it stuck. We both kind of said that, hey, this has a ring to it. We like it. We like the way it sounds, and that's how it stuck. Just like bouncing ideas off of each other for days. It didn't just like happen in 30 minutes in the car or something. It was days of me bugging the crap out of her, trying to get her to like, hey, what do you think about this? Hey, what do you think about that? And then she would come up with something, and we just kept going back and forth, and that's where we landed.
Yeah, and I think that's how a lot of things happen.
Yeah,
where it's natural, and that's when you thrive.
Yeah, Big Bad Toy Store was taken. I was going to do that, but it was already
taken. Well, how long has the Chosen Prime actually been around?
So this is a big year for us. Actually, this is 10 years, man. This is
wow.
We turned the website on in November of 2014. So we're right in the middle of it right now. So 2014. So this is 10 years.
Awesome. Well,
13.
Congratulations.
13.
Oh, 2013. Okay.
Yeah, 2013. So
we're happy then.
It's been quite a run.
Yeah, we're very happy to be able to interview you on the 10-year anniversary of Chosen Prime.
We're probably right near the actual anniversary date.
Yeah. So with that, what was it like? What happened that said, I want to open up a toy store? Like, I mean, that's like huge, especially at a time when I mean, I guess 10 years ago, Toys R Us was still kind of around.
They were still there. Yeah. Yeah. They were probably like 2 years, I think, maybe from shut down, you know, two to three. Um, so it really just happened out of chance, you know, again, because my son was a big part of it, because what happened was, the first thing that took place was he wanted more figures. You know, he was like, you know, and so I'm like, well, look, you know, let me see if I can find some more somehow. You know, so I got on like Craigslist and found this like lot of figures. You know, instead of like going and buying a bunch of them new, whatever. I was like, well, I don't know how long he's going to be into this, so you know, I jumped on there. It was like a lot of like 50 or 100 or something. It was a lot, and I'm like, I'm not giving him all these, right? So I turned around and I sold, you know, a good bit of them and just kept a few, and, you know, allowed what I sold to pay for, you know, what I bought him. So I didn't have to really put any money into it. And, you know, then it kind of like, I'm an entrepreneurial spirit. So, and I already had another business that I was kind of like coming to the end of the road on. So you know, I kind of was ready to do something else. And so I started doing some checking and looking around at it, and I was like, yeah, you know, I mean, there might be something to this, you know, because the ones I sold them super fast and super easy, and you know, just it all came really fast. And then I was playing basketball at the gym this one time with this guy, and I heard him talking to someone else about having to get rid of his collection. And I just happened to I was like, hey, what are you talking about? What are you getting rid of? And he had a G1 collection that he was, you know, getting rid of from his childhood. They were all in boxes still. And wow. You know, it was a nice collection. And, you know, anyways, long story short, after a few days, I ended up buying them from him. You know, we kind of went back and forth, and you know, I gave him a number that I was comfortable with. His number was quite a ways different. And he ended up calling me a few days later and was like, "Hey, I'll do it." And so I went over, I bought them, I put them on eBay and sold them, and you know, it gave us a little startup capital there to kind of get things going, and you know, just kind of materialized from there. Started doing all the homework and checking into everything else that I needed to do to make it happen. And, you know, never really had any thoughts of doing like a brick and mortar store. That's just not, I have too many other responsibilities to kind of, you know, commit myself to that. Mm-hmm. But, you know, I figured we could do this kind of as a side thing. And it really wasn't supposed to be how big it is. Like, it really wasn't, honestly. It was just supposed to be something to kind of, you know, do on the side, just, you know, to help pay for mine and Porter's toy hustle, you know, just our own habit, you know, but it didn't work out that way now.
Well, on that note, do you remember the first figure you sold under the name The Chosen Prime?
I don't, but actually, you know, you want to know what's funny? The other day, I was actually just looking back, and I do know the first person that bought from our website, and it's actually a customer. He's still a customer of ours from Canada. And shout out David. You know, we talk to him still regularly. He's a super great guy, and yeah, he's actually the first person that ordered from us.
Oh, that's really cool.
That is, and I guess then this next question is just for giggles here, because I see a couple of figures behind you that I'm looking at. So I'm assuming you still collect, or I mean, is it still you still personally collect, or is it more so that you have the figures because you've had them and in the business?
No, I still do, for sure. It's, you know, it's been a good run along the way, and I've got to enjoy a lot of stuff that I probably wouldn't have otherwise. But I still collect personally. You know, I don't keep everything out like I used to. You know, I used to just try to put everything out, and now I've kind of like, you know, I just pick and choose my stuff that I really either really like it, or I have connection to it, or it's, you know, something that's new that, hey, it's cool, I like it right now, but I'll cycle through it like that. as far as loose stuff, goes, like opening, I still open almost everything that comes through the store though, because my curiosity gets me. I gotta check it out, man. I can't just let it go by and be like, oh, I don't know anything about that. I don't even feel like that's a good way to run the business either. I feel like I'm obligated to know what I'm selling to. I don't think it's fair not to. But on a personal side, yeah, I mean, stuff gets opened. I have stuff here. I'm in my work office. I have stuff at home, in my office at home, same thing. And, much to Kim's chagrin, I have MP44 and an MP36 on my nightstand at home. So, but then I have a whole other side of things where I just keep stuff mint in box, sealed boxes and just put away. I mean, and that's just stuff for Porter. I keep it for him, and when I'm in the dirt, he can do whatever he wants with it. But for now, it's there, it's tucked away, it's safe. It's it will be easy for him to figure out what everything is. It's set up pretty good.
That's awesome.
That's really cool. That is really cool. Not you going in the dirt anytime soon, of course.
Yeah, no, skip over that.
But. Yeah.
So, approximately, since you do, own the Chosen Prime, how many figures do you think you have?
Personally?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I don't know.
In your collection?
A lot. Yeah, it's somewhere between a lot and a grip. I don't know. Yeah, that's quite a bit. I mean, more than I should probably.
Okay, and so let's change gears a little bit here. I see a Delta baser behind you.
Yeah.
So you do a lot of exclusives with Fans Hobby. How did that start?
So, we've had a good working relationship with those guys anyway. They're just good people. They've been really good to us, and I like the product. I like the quality of the product. I like the direction that they're going with their lines. They stay consistent to a line, and they build it out. So I appreciate that dedication. So I approached them and just asked, hey, how can we, are you guys interested in anything? And how can we build kind of a long-term deal? Because I don't want to bounce around. I mean, we've done exclusives with some other manufacturers and stuff, and I'm not unhappy with any of them. They all went very well. But these guys, we just have a little closer working relationship with them, and they're super cool about what if I throw an idea out there, Delta Baser is a great example, right? No like fictional anything to it. We just said, hey, I think this would be cool. I think that this design would be a good looking robot, and I feel like the execution was pretty good.
Yeah, and if I remember right, it sold out at the show. So
it did. Yeah, we sold out of the copies at the show, and it sold out on the website pretty quick too. So we had just, in fact, like after the first day, we only had like less than 20 pieces left, and then like over the next couple days or whatever it was, like the rest of them went away. So that one that was just strictly a me project. I wanted it, I liked it. I liked the look of it. I always loved Power Master Prime as a kid. It was one of my favorite toys, and I just wanted to do that for us.
That's really
well, I actually really like that figure, and let's talk about the third component of this, which as Bobby likes to say, a family member and friend of the channel. Get Right Robot, or Jason, who we already interviewed. He's obviously an integral part of these exclusives. So how did that come about? So
Jay and I became friends at the first TFCon that I did, which was 2014, the first one in Chicago, the first US TFCon in 2014. we were a buddy of mine was with me, and it was just him and I doing the show. I had a little smaller setup back then, but it was still a lot. It was still big, and there's a lot going on. And we were trying to get things set up, and Jay was just walking around. Like, I think he was helping someone else set their stuff up, and he was just walking around. He kind of roamed over while I was messing with something, and we started talking a little bit. And I was like, "Hey, man, if you're just gonna stand around here talking, why don't you get to work, bro? Like, I need some help." And we hit it off. I mean, I would say it's a lot like you guys. You just there's certain people that you just get along with right out of the gate, and kind of relate to on more levels than just the toys. You're just on the same channel a little bit more, and that's kind of how we hit it off. And ever since then, we've just been really close friends, and he's a good person and been a great friend, and obviously a big part, like you said, of putting these together. I mean, he's always been the guy that's helped me put it on the screen, so to speak, right? Like, I don't, I get some ideas in my head, and we go back and forth, and hey, maybe we need to change the color on this or that, whatever, and he'll put it together for us, and then we go for it, try to hash it out from there. So it's been really a good working relationship, on top of just being a good personal friend.
Yeah. I mean, Jason, when I met Jason, I didn't know the moniker of Get Right Robot, but I had seen some of his work he had done totally separate, and I was just like, oh, this is a cool dude. He had a ponytail back then and everything, and he was just like a really cool guy. And then we were talking about something. He's like, yeah, I designed that box. I was like, shut up. And he's like, yeah, Get Right Robot. I was like, wait a minute. I got my phone. I started pulling up. So I was like, this you? He's like, yeah, I remember that. That was a fun project. I was like, dude, and so again, really humble guy. And honestly, I can see why you two hit it off, because you two have the same type of persona as well. When I first met you, I was just like, oh, okay, he's really cool. Didn't know who you were. They were like, I was waiting on something. They're like, oh, you gotta wait for Brandon. And I think you had like walked by it, but you were just like, I saw you before, and you're just really cool. And then I was like, oh, that's the same guy that, check this out. I was like, oh, he's really cool. I was like, okay, I can dig this.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I don't know if I'm as cool as Jay, but I try.
Well, I mean, I honestly I can say that as I've gotten to know you in particular, you are a busy man at these cons. You're definitely, I know I'm waiting on you,
Yeah, all the time. Yeah, it's tough, man. Because everybody's like, hey, can you come talk to this guy, or can you come, and I hate it, because in one aspect, because I don't get the chance to do like we used to like where I could sit down and talk to somebody for 10 or 15 minutes and get to know them. The upside to it is I've got like, 10 great friends that do that now for us, and create these relationships that we have with everybody. Obviously, if it was left up to me, I mean, I wouldn't know you guys like I do, because the time's just not as available as I'd like it to be, and as it, kind of used to be. All the guys, I don't know if you know this, but all the guys that help out at the shows, I mean, they're all people that bought from us at the shows, or I met through the Chosen Prime. They're not long-standing, lifelong friends. These guys are all people I've met in the last 10 years, and now we're just like a big family. And it's been that way from the get-go. We just kind of kept accumulating, a person here and there, and it's turned into really something really special, man. I'm really humble and grateful that these guys are willing to come out and do it. Guys and girls. Sorry, Simsy, Mo, all you guys.
Yeah.
Trying to come out and do it with us every time we do these shows. Because it's a lot, man. It's a big setup, and we try to present ourselves pretty well, and there's a lot of work that goes into it.
Yeah. I I'm gonna skip this question because you kind of touched on it. I was gonna ask what other brands that you might want to work with, but I think you kind of found your niche working with fans.
Yeah, they've been good, man. I mean, like I said, none of the other guys I've worked with have been bad, not at all. I have no complaints about any of it. But these guys have been really fun, and we got a good thing going right now that I'm happy with. So it's been fun.
Okay.
So speaking of third party, we talked about Fans Hobby. What are your opinions on Hasbro and the mainline Transformers versus third party? Whether that be quality or any of that stuff.
So, I liked where they were going probably 2 years ago. I felt like the quality was improving, as far as official goes. I don't care for this whole mixed line thing that's going on right now, where they're just bringing everything to the forefront. It's not my favorite thing. I do like some elements of it, I guess. But I would say as a whole, it's probably not my favorite, move. But they, I understand the idea behind it, right? Because you're trying to get every demographic together, collecting again at one time. So, I get it. It's just not my favorite thing. I like to kind of have a series that is contiguous, rather than just all over the board.
I think that's a good point, because I've never thought about that. And I think that's what's pushing me and Bobby away, is every figure feels like it doesn't go with the last one.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, when you're mixing lines and, different generations and all that stuff, I mean, I like that they're redoing some of those figures because it's cool. It's cool to see them, but I don't know if we need them all at once,
Yeah, I think Kingdom did it the best.
Yeah, that was cool.
It was all Beast Wars and a few G1 figures to fill in the gaps and stuff, but you didn't get off the wall type of figures as well.
Yeah, you got everything from Armada to Transformers Prime to everything now. It's
animated.
It's all over the board. That's not my favorite approach, but they know what they're doing. They make the big bucks.
Well, and while you were saying it, and this kind of just popped in, there's also not like a cartoon or any type of media attached to it, so it
no
also
common theme.
Right. So I think if there was media attached to it, I think it would kind of bring me in probably a little bit more, because I can be like, oh, okay, this is why this, because otherwise I'm relying on James to, tell me about who this, space pirate is, or who, this Tasmanian dude with a pimp hand, Troy has, so it's.
I must have missed that episode. I don't remember. So it would be nice. Like I think that's why the studio series is still somewhat interesting to me, right? Because they're doing the 86 figures, and then they're also doing those, Bumblebee, Cybertron figures as well. And I think that those have been really good. I've been pretty happy with those. I really like those Bumblebee movie designs. If they would just keep making those and crack out some better versions of those. I'd even go as far as to say I'd like to see Masterpiece versions of those.
Wow. Okay. You heard it here first.
That's right.
When we start seeing those pre-orders come up for the Masterpiece, we know that you influenced it.
Yeah, it was my idea. I need those royalties, boys.
So how did the relationship start with TFCon? We met you at TFCon. How did that start?
So, I think I mentioned that we did the first U.S. show in 2014. So that was the first U.S. TFCon. They had been doing it in Toronto for several years prior to that. But I did BotCon. My first show that we did was BotCon in Pasadena, which was, I think, in like April or so of 14. And, I just wanted to keep getting our name out there. And so we did the Chicago show. I think I bugged Colin a fair bit over there, just about getting a better location and things like that. And, him and I just kind of developed a rapport over the years. For the first couple of years, he's a tough nut to crack for a little while. He was really busy. Yeah. He's stone cold, man. He's just, he's pretty stoic most of the time. But once you get to know him, he's a great guy, and we've just been able to build it over the years to what it is now. And, we want to help the show. We want, if the show gets bigger, we get bigger, right? It helps us. So, we try to put our best foot forward there in terms of what we're bringing to the show. And, I think he appreciates that. We just have a mutual respect and a mutual common goal to keep growing the hobby and growing the shows up. So, it's developed just out of that, I think, mainly. And me just bugging him for more,
And how long have you actually been the sponsor?
Good question, man. I don't remember when it became official. He used to kind of do things a little differently. There was a couple different sponsors before, like levels to it, I guess. But we started doing that kind of right away, probably in 2015. And then, again, I just kept bugging him about, how do we keep doing this? How do we do this bigger? How do we do it better? And, this is what we came up with for now anyway.
Oh, more surprises then.
Yeah, we'll see.
So let's circle back. I know we're kind of running out of time here, but I wanted to touch on this because a lot of people are getting out of collecting now and selling their collections. And you mentioned at the start, this is kind of how you got into business. So are you still buying people's collections? And
Sure.
I already know the answer, but I know some of our fans may want to know.
Yeah, we do. You can jump on the website. There's a clickable link on the site where you can jump on there. If you're looking to consolidate, get out, whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, we'll take a look at what you got. I mean, I don't buy loose stuff really too much anymore. Most of it's got to be box stuff, in really good, premium condition. It becomes too difficult to evaluate stuff when it's incomplete or broken or whatever. So we just, stay away from that type of stuff. But if you got a collection that's just sitting there or a piece of it, that you're like, hey, I'm ready to move on from this. Yeah, reach out to us, man. We'll send you an offer. There's a sheet on there that you can fill out on the website. You just download it and fill it out, send it back to me, and we'll get you something figured out. And we can do it as credit or we buy them. So if you're just looking to upgrade, we can do that too.
Oh. You gotta tell my wife to stay away from your site in that case.
I already know how to get a hold of her, man.
And let's talk about the Chosen Prime for a little bit. So there's a lot of places to shop for Transformers, obviously.
Yeah.
We already shop at the Chosen Prime, but why should our viewers, if they haven't already, check you guys out?
I mean, there's a lot of people there's a lot of good companies out there. You got a lot of choices and our prices are competitive. Our reward points are probably, better than anywhere else that you're going to buy from. But a lot of it is just the relationship. We try to have a closer personal relationship with our customers if they want that. There's a lot of folks that just, hey, I just want to buy something, and you can do that too. But, when it comes time that there's, if there's a problem or if there's, anything that comes up, a question, that sort of thing, you know where to find us. We're going to answer our phone or we're going to answer our emails. And, we're just a lot more, I think, easy to reach out to and deal with than some of our other competitors probably. And just, you're not just a number to us, you're a name, and I try to remember as many of the names as I can.
Yeah, I can be a personal attest to that. Out of all of the vendors at TFCon, and even everybody that I've shopped from online throughout my 15 years of buying my own Transformers, you guys have probably been the most personable out of all of them, which is why I continue to come back.
Yeah, we appreciate it, man. And obviously we try to ship as fast as we can too. I mean, most stuff goes out same day. I mean, that's important to some people. Some people don't mind, right?
Yeah.
But, I think all in all, we have a total package that's pretty attractive. And, try it once, and hey, if you don't like it, you don't have to come back. But something tells me you're not going to leave.
I must admit the personal service that and the personal attention that I get coming to the show from not just you but the team. I mean, it's almost like everybody knows my name. I don't know why, but
like Cheers, man.
Yeah, it is. I walk in and it's just like, oh, we already have you kind of set up. I'm like, oh man, this is like the VIP treatment. So I know I really appreciate it, and I mean, it could be because I do tend to swipe my card a lot with you. So
yeah, I mean that helps, man.
it definitely helped. But even before then, I just know that not only that, but you all tend to have products that I haven't really had problems with. And the one time I've had a problem at 2 shows, and one recently, and literally I sent you a message and like it was resolved in like 2 minutes. It was just like so fast. So I really appreciate that. So last question before we kind of get up out of here. Black Friday's coming, and I've seen sales kind of popping up, and is there something coming down the pike from the Chosen Prime?
Yeah, every year we don't do a lot of sales. I mean, I've never been big on that. It's not my thing for the most part, but we do try to do a decent sale every year this time. I'm not getting into the whole thing where it just keeps getting longer and longer. Black Friday start November 1st now, I think. I don't know. It's wild, man, but you're never going to get probably that from us, but yeah, we'll have something going up Wednesday at midnight. It'll start, and over the next couple of days we'll probably start throwing out some things. What's going to happen? But yeah, we got something coming.
I'm looking forward to that. My wallet is like kind of.
I don't know what you're talking about. You don't need anything right now. You're all caught up.
That's what he always thinks.
A couple of things I'm still looking for, so
yeah, you got money burning a hole in your pocket.
Yeah, that's probably all it is. Just duplicate.
All right, well, that is everything. So if you haven't already, go check out the Chosen Prime.
Yeah, man, check it out. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, definitely.
And where can people? It's just thechosenprime.com, correct?
Yeah, thechosenprime.com or chosenprime.com. It'll send you there.
So there you guys go, and we'll link to all of their socials down in the description, and go follow them as well. And is there any final statements you'd like to say before we log off here?
No, man, I appreciate you guys having me on. I hope everybody has a good holiday season, and come out and see us at TFCon in March.
Oh yes,
yes, we will be
definitely
there.
Will be.
So be a big one, man. This is 40 years G1, so.
Actually, just any. We just saw Peter Cullen's going to be there.
Right.
Any other surprises that you could kind of let us in on?
So I don't know everything, but I know a few things that I can't tell you.
We'll just have to.
Michael Bell's going to be there. They announced that one too. So but Peter's just the start. So we'll leave it at that.
All right. Well, we'll have to
stay tuned, fans, for more news from us on any updates that we can try to get out of Brandon. I mean, he's a tough cookie.
Like a steel trap, man.
Yeah, so subscribe to stay tuned for that, and we'll see you guys very, very soon.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
All right. Thanks all.